Hey everyone, I came back from upstairs. I went up for a little while, but I think I need to, if I'm going swimming, go a bit earlier. It was actually quite cool up there when I went up after 5. And I watched a documentary yesterday on what's happening in the mining industry in Congo. And it's quite horrific. So here in Canada and in some parts of the US, just like in Africa, you get these mega churches. You get pastors and priests and people that are selling miracle cures, and they mega churches, so they make a lot of money selling a lot of tapes, preaching prosperity. And the same thing's happening in Congo. But I was horrified because this guy is a business owner and he's working with the Indians, and they're mixing a concoction which has petrol in it, gasoline in it, and some other stuff mixed with water, and they're selling this to people, and they're telling them to drink it 3 times a day and that their faith will make them better. So it's really upsetting when you watch the kinds of things that are happening, in Africa, and even here in different parts of the world. You get these fake priests. They'll set up like Facebook accounts and social media, and then they'll put their prices like very, very high, and people fall for it and they believe it, and they're buying the stuff and they're drinking it, and they're basically drinking gasoline. I mean, that's what they're drinking. It's really sad, I think that's why people need a basic education to think about things, to think about, what are they putting into their bodies, into their minds, into their spirits. For me, as a spiritual director, I don't charge. And when I do charge, it's a nominal fee that I charge. And that doesn't even cover my electricity when I get to the end of the month. So that's why I put my links up for my GoFundMe. I try to get work through the church, because, when you see what people do and you see what they get away with, it's really awful. It's really, really awful to see what's happening. And there's a lot of places here in America where after a few years, those mega churches go bust because they make their money, and then they'll move on from there. They'll find a new location. There's a lot of places in America that had polygamy, where women were taken into places and they couldn't leave, and they had to run away. So it doesn't only happen in Africa, it happens here as well. It happens in Canada, it happens in America. I think the documentaries highlight what's happening in Africa, but it's not only happening in Africa. I think with Africa, the hard part is that in places like Zimbabwe, we had the basic education coming in. We had people, sending their children into the towns to get an education so that they would know when they went back to the rural areas that taking those type of concoctions was just going to kill you. I mean, obviously those people are going to die. And they filmed it. It was an Indian woman sitting at the back there and mixing that thing. And then this guy, whoever he is, he's setting up a factory to manufacture it, mass manufacture it, and sell it. And people are buying it like they're buying cool drink. So, it's really sad. It's sad when somebody like me can't get work in the church, and then you get these fake priests and fake spiritual directors and all kinds of things, and they're making millions. It's sad, because I've worked hard, I've studied, I've volunteered in the church, and I haven't only helped in our Catholic Church. I've helped in other Christian denomination churches. I've done everything I can to get a job in a good place. And I always land up getting the short end of the stick. So, now there's all these floods happening. You watch how social media will explode, and all these fake priests and fake spiritual healers will try to make money off of that. It's quite sad. Anyway, I just count my blessings. So far, Canada is not having rolling blackouts, and we're not dealing with electricity cuts on a daily basis like we had in Zimbabwe, going on for weeks on end. So we have a lot to be grateful for. But I try to do what I can to help from where I am, because this idea that's being sold that, Africa's prosperous and Africa's coming up, there's a very small percentage of Africa. Very, very small. And the way we're going here in Canada is going to land up like that if they don't start creating jobs and creating an environment for investment. We're going to land up being like Africa, where you have the very rich and you have the very poor. And that's what I think. I mean, we've already got food banks. At least they created the food banks for people like me and my mom. Because if you don't have an income and you don't have a job and you're walking the streets looking for jobs and you're not getting anything, what are you supposed to do? Go hungry? Obviously, you're going to go and use the food bank. There's no shame in it. You'd rather go and use that food bank and get some food in your stomach than starve, isn't it? I mean, we had times where we went to sleep hungry in Zimbabwe. And we don't like being a burden on other people. I don't. I hate having to ask the family, even when I contacted my cousin in America, Natalie, after 6 years. I hated having to do it because I know people have had their own problems, their own financial difficulties, their own mental health struggles. I hated having to do it, but I didn't have any choice. So I just hope and pray that I get a break and that I get a good job in the church, because I really don't deserve to be sitting at home doing nothing. And I watch those documentaries because I want to know what the issues are, where I can help, what I can do. I want to know because, yes, the African leaders also want to tackle corruption and all that, but what South Africa is going through now, we also went through in Zimbabwe with their economic reform plan and the land grabs and all of that. And it's sad to see the same things being repeated over and over and over. It's very sad. And for me, it's very disappointing that after all these years, I can't get a job in the church. It's very disappointing because I really don't know what the Catholic Church expects me to do. I don't know what the priests and the bishops and the Cardinals expect me to do, or even the Pope. They should tell me what they expect me to do to get a job in the church. Because it's really unfair. It's very unfair.